This inner calling suddenly becomes strong. There is something insufficing. Many people are in despair. They descend into drugs or psychiatry and all kinds of things. Then they become psychopathic and end up in the psychiatric ward. However, there are many too who follow this inner calling. That is what is called in Zen the great doubt. To experience this great doubt about what the broad mass of earthbound average people see as high value and reality and worth striving for is the first step towards liberation. Then you enter the temple of wisdom. When you doubt and say, is this really all? I'm alive now, I'm so and so old. It doesn't matter whether you're 30 years old now, or whether you're 80 now, or how old you are. It's all of no use to you. Even a young person can die earlier than an old person. 1 minute, you're alive, and then death comes. And then comes the absolute zero, absolute nothing, total annihilation, as if nothing had ever happened. It's like a fly you hit with your swatter. Whack, that's it, it's over. Or you take refuge in one of the great offers of the consolation religions of our time, and think that's it. But somehow you always notice that something is missing. Something is missing. It is frightening how many people leave the church. It's frightening how many people drop out in the middle of their theology studies because they suddenly can't believe anymore. Because they suddenly have doubts, and that is wonderful. Those who have this doubt can only be congratulated. The greater the doubt, the greater the realization, as Zen says. Medium doubt, medium insight, medium realization, no doubt, no realization at all. There you are stuck as an earthbound samsaric person in this external world of illusions of birth, aging, suffering, illness, pain and death, and you fall into it. And as a victim of your self-caused karmas, your karmic impulses, these wild forces drive you back into darkness and into the rebirth of a samsaric, new world experience of birth and death and greed, hatred and delusion. This impulse, I'm talking about this inner impulse, this inner that you can't express. You don't know why or how, but it's there. It is there. That is what is calling you. That is the life that knows no death. That is timeless eternity. It is the radiant glory of your real, blissful being. That's what it's all about. Now, of course, not everyone has to get into such an enlightenment stress and say, oh, I've got to hurry up and get enlightened. Oh dear, that's not what it's about. It's a gradual development. It's almost always the case that the human being goes his spiritual path and progresses spiritually, reaches a higher and higher level of realization, a higher mental, spiritual realization, and then when he dies ultimately into what he desires, he will be transformed, He is reborn as a being, and in a civilization, with people where he finds advancement, where he finds spiritual teachers again, where he rises higher and higher, until the moment when he completely awakens. But there are always individuals in the world, individuals in an incarnation who also awaken during their lifetime. And that is ultimately divine destiny. No one can do that of their own accord now, willy-nilly, but this impulse I am talking about, this urgent, inner, radiant impulse, which consists only of light and love, to feel it in your heart and to surrender yourself completely to it, to abandon yourself to it. That is precisely the true path of every true, living mysticism. And so it says, in the wonderful prayer of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, one of the great Upanishads from ancient India, you, O Brahman, we have heard Brahman is the light-filled, divine one mind. You, O Brahman, from non-being lead us to being. From darkness lead us to light, and from non-being lead us to immortality. Or may hum. So be it. Or may hum. So be it.